Hey guys, good afternoon. So, or good evening whenever you're watching this, right? Will mostly be in the evening, but if in case you're watching in the afternoon, good afternoon. So it's actually 16th Jan, right? 16th January 2024, and you can see it's almost 1 p.m. Quick update. So yesterday was 15th Jan, right? And we celebrated Sankranti. So not sure how many of you celebrated it, but it's a pretty big deal for us. So celebrated the festival, and yeah, I frankly just didn't have the energy to sit down and code. I felt too bored and didn't want to do it. So didn't code yesterday. That was it. Right. So as you can see, the bit manipulation, I'm still at the same place where I started. So I've done 3 assignments in bit manipulation. So yeah, yet to start with the fourth one. There's a ton of assignments and I have 11 days left. So got to make the most of it. Let me actually check how many days and hours specifically. So 11 days and 7 hours left, right? So what I'm targeting is, and I've said this a couple of times already, right? So I don't really concentrate well in the afternoon, but since it's solving problems rather than watching a video, I feel like I should be able to manage that. And since yesterday, I made the mistake of not solving a single problem, so I have to make up for it today. Right, so what I'm planning is maybe do 4 to 6 problems today, right? And the way I'm going to split it is it's close to 1 p.m. So up until 2 p.m. Up until 1:55 p.m., right? So in the next 1 hour, if I'm able to solve just one problem, that is good and well and fine. Because from 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. I have to be elsewhere. So I'm actually interviewing for a role, not in web development, right? Obviously, I haven't done anything in web development to get a role right away. It's in it's a customer support role at a pretty decent company. So the market isn't great, so I'm applying for anything. And customer support, a lot of people look down upon it, but my perspective is let me at least it will at least help me improve my soft skills and how you respond to people on email or on chat, right? Because being able to communicate with them is something I can do fairly decently, but I think when it comes to text-based mode of communication, I still have a lot of room for improvement. So I think, though, on the one side, I'm also getting paid for it since it's a job, but on the other side, yes, I also get to learn. I am hoping that I get to learn a lot uh, in the service industry. So let's see how that works. In case it works out well and good, then I'll have to, schedule my day and actually carve out time for Sharpener with a proper schedule. So I will work on that. For the moment, yeah, I'll just get started with the fourth assignment and I'll update you guys once I'm done with the fourth. And yeah, I remember I'd mentioned that I should actually show you how I solve problems and get some practice problems. I'm still working on that. Please be patient. So it's just that I'm actually a bit lazy, so I didn't really invest a lot of time in figuring out what platform I can use to show you how I solve problems because I can't use any of Sharpener's problems for obvious reasons. So I'll give me some time. So hopefully by the end of this week, right, I'll figure something out and yeah, I will start over right from the basics, meaning what is a program, then how loops works, then how arrays work. Then I'll also move on to bit manipulation. But I think bit manipulation questions I haven't come across anywhere outside of Sharpener. I think Sharpener is one of the only boot camps that I know that has gone this much, that has put this much focus on bit manipulation. But most of the other boot camps that I have experienced and my friends have been to, I don't remember anyone, really mentioning or going putting in this much practice on bit manipulation. So this is a bit of a tough nut to crack, but sure, we'll get there. 11 days I have. And I think, wait, let's check the total assignments before I get started. I think it's 25, right? So I've already completed 3. So that means I have 22 left, right? Even if I do 2 a day, it should be fairly easy to complete it in exactly 11 days. But let's target 3 to 4 a day. And my goal is to do at least 3 or 4 today so that I make up for yesterday. I need to have some buffer. I don't want to, push it to the last date. So in order to have some buffer, I'm doing this. Cool, guys. I'll get started on the 4th assignment and keep you posted on how it goes. Hey guys, I'm back. So as you can see, I completed just one problem, but let me show you. It took me an entire, I started at close to 1 p.m., right? So you can see it's almost, I took 3 hours, let's say 2.5 hours, right? It's almost it's 4:45. So 3 hours, 45 minutes, remove about 40 minutes because I, went ahead and attended the prep call for the interview. So to get an idea of what that was. So I spent an entire 3 hours. I even used up the hint and I even missed out on the timer because the issue I was running into was the test cases that Sharpener had, put up. I had cleared it when there was just 1 minute left, right? But on lead code, I had passed only 74 test cases out of the 100. So there was clearly something wrong with the logic, and I didn't want to, just for the sake of points, just submit it on Sharpener and be like, hey, I'm done with this. And because then I'm not really going to put in the effort to understand the logic behind how to, solve for the remaining 25 cases, right? Out of those 100 cases, there are 2 edge cases, right? So that we have to look out for. And yeah, the logic was pretty fun. So interestingly, this was a question I'd solved very long ago, and even back then I didn't really get it in the first attempt. And this just goes to show that I like solving problems, right? And coding is definitely hard, so I do enjoy solving problems. I always said, afternoons are not a great time for me, but when it comes to solving problems, when there's an interesting problem that I'm stuck at, I'm cool with it, right? I'm able to solve it. So that's how it is working. And yeah, I spent a little over 3 hours just figuring out one problem, and I'll tell you what happens. So if you don't solve a question within the particular time frame, you lose out on 50% of the points. If you take a hint, you lose out on another 10 points for every hint you unlock, something like that. Right. So, but points are not really the matter. So I was really focused on ensuring that I get the logic. So yeah, I solved just one problem. I'm not sure how the other 3 problems that I plan to solve will be for the day, but this is how it has been. I think this one problem I'll give you, I think this is one thing I can let you know, right? So since it was taken right, this question was directly was taken out of lead code. So you can just go to lead code and look up convert a number to hexadecimal, right? This is the question that took this much time. So I got stuck on this one question for like 3 hours. And the good part about Sharpener, as I've mentioned earlier, is they want you to struggle at problems because if you're not struggling, that means you're not really putting in the effort to understand the logic. So, and I never even checked how much time was left to unlock the hint because I basically unlocked the hint after the entire 2 hour timer was up, right? So, yeah, I had figured out 74 test cases, right? And there were only like 10 minutes left. And I had to go attend the prep call for the interview. So I did that, came back, and then, watched the hints. And even after watching the hints, it took me a good 30 minutes to actually get my code sorted, right? But compared to the last time that I solved this problem on lead code, right, my code has become maybe like 5 to 10% better, right? So that's what I'll say about that today. And yeah, I think it's been a heck of a day. I'm not sure when I'll start recording the other ones, but for now, I'll just take this off here. So this will be this one particular video, and what I've said so far will be just this one particular problem I solved, and what I said so far will be part of one video, and any further problems will come up in the next video because yeah, 3 hours just on one problem. And remember how when I was doing arrays and looping, I used to like solve what? I used to solve like 4 problems in the same 2 hour window, right? Now, because the concept is new even for me, so you can see that this is the actual struggle. I mean, I could have put a sort of time lapse sort of a thing, or I could have put my cell phone webcam, but since I was moving around a fair bit, so I'll start showing the entire process of solving the problems. I think once I'm done with this whole interview part, because I really do need a job at the moment. So I just want to ensure that I figure out whether I'm getting it or not, get a conclusion on it, and then, uh, focus on creating the content here on the channel. Okay, cool, guys. That's it for this video. See you guys in the next one. Thanks for sticking around. Do subscribe to the channel. Yeah, I did observe that, my voice hasn't been that great in a lot of the videos earlier. So, unfortunately, since it's a new channel, I haven't gotten a lot of traction. My thumbnails aren't good. I don't know anything about creating good thumbnails or catchy titles, and I don't really care about it at this point because my focus is rather on learning and building the projects and getting a job, right? So, anyways, in the future, whoever watches the video do understand that I have realized the issue. I made the mistake of not really. See, my setup is basically I just want to record it and not even go through the recording once, right? So I personally am looking at this at this point. I'm just looking at it as my personal video diary, so I don't really care about how the audio comes out and everything because I also have the set of files even on my system, right? So I can just increase the volume or do some or play with it at a later point and figure out the audio. But yes, I have found that some of the videos when I speak it's not as audible, so I will try to be a little louder in the upcoming videos, including this one. I hope this one was a little better. But and some videos in between, right? In between so far, what I've released in the last couple of days also might have decent audio, but I think this one will be slightly better. Cool, guys. Do subscribe. Do share the videos with a friend. Anyone who comes across the channel, share it with a friend or a relative who's thinking of getting into coding, so that they can understand the time and effort it takes to learn and get a job. And yeah, do comment your thoughts on how the videos are, and see you guys in the next one. Thank you. Bye bye.